Hi, hi everybody. Lost my voice there. This is Amanda Ellis of amandaellis.co.uk, Facebook page Angelic Celestial Colours. Making a video here on March the 15th, 2017. Just thought we'd do a mid-March update. It's been a tougher month than I felt it was going to be at the start of March. And so I've sort of gone back to Archangel Metatron for some guidance for us all. Those of you that have watched my March video, the first March video, we talked about it very much being a month of new beginnings and striding forward. And indeed it is that. But I've really noticed within myself and also within others some real obstacles coming up and a bit of struggle, basically. Energetic as well as physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, the whole gambit. So I'm going to look at that today and ask Archangel Metatron for some help for us all. And one thing he's asked me to do is to look at one card in particular from the tarot, which is the energy of the Fool, okay? And I actually don't have a traditional tarot deck because I'm not a traditional tarot reader. It's not what I do. I just use the cards purely to help stimulate my my senses, really, and to get going, really, so that I can start to just channel through the messages from Metatron. So they're props, really. And then yeah, that's how I use them. But anyway, the point is I don't have the traditional card for the Fool, but I do have two depictions here. And he wants me to discuss them both because so much of the journey so far, with Metatron in particular, has been about trying to help us move forward and effectively, symbolically, jump off the cliff to the new beginning. And the traditional image for the Fool, which is the card of new beginnings, shows a man perched on top of this cliff, and he's trying to decide whether to jump or not, whether to step into the new beginning or whether to stay where he is. But he's very much on the precipice of the cliff. He can't go any further, and you very much get the feeling that he's not going to turn around and walk back. So really, there is only one way forward, which is to jump and to have trust and faith that as you jump, you learn to fly. You know, you learn how to navigate the new landscape of your new life. But it does take trust and faith. Now, I've got two depictions of the Fool card here. One is from the Shadowscapes tarot deck, which shows a lady perched on top of, it's not a cliff actually, what is it? She's perched on top of, I was going to say a tree, but it's not even that. She's just perched on top of figures, it looks like, as though she scrambled to the top of something, and she is ready to fly. She is ready to launch herself into her new beginning, but yet she hasn't yet done it, okay? She hasn't yet got there, but she's sort of putting her arms outstretched. She's taking a deep breath in, and she's preparing to do what she knows she has to do. And there is a feeling of surrender that comes from the card. But it is very much just that snapshot of somebody preparing, but they haven't yet actually moved into their new beginning. And so that is sort of the traditional interpretation. I ordered over the last week a new deck, which is the After Tarot deck, and it's quite clever in that what it does is it shows the images of the cards that we're used to seeing, and it depicts them maybe a couple of moments, a couple of hours, or a day or so after the original image. So for example, the original image of the Fool is her standing on the top of the cliff, or him standing on the top of the cliff, getting ready to fly, getting ready to move into the new beginning. And in the image on the after tarot deck, we have the fact that they have actually taken that leap of faith, okay? They've done it, but actually what they're doing is they're still clinging just a little bit, and only actually with a few fingers. It's not really with much strength left anymore. They're just resting their hand and clinging on to the cliff from which they have jumped from, okay? And it feels as though we're in that state at the moment, limbo state almost. And what happens here is that in this card we can see that us, the person that's depicted here, has jumped into the new beginning, hasn't quite landed, okay, hasn't quite let go, but has 95% let go from the place from which he came, is actually smelling a flower there. Now, I don't know what the flower is supposed to be, but I have the expression smelling the roses, you know, remembering actually how important it is to, whatever you're going through in life, to feel the beauty and see the beauty that is all around you. And that was confirmed to me today by the fact I picked a card for myself actually, which is from the Water Crystal Oracle deck by Masaru Emoto, the late great Dr. Masaru Emoto. And these cards basically just depict the water crystals that form based on different words that the water was exposed to. So those of you that know the work of Dr. Emoto know what I'm talking about here. So I shuffled the deck and I thought, okay, I'll place one of these underneath my glass of water today. I wonder what I need as a vibration to run through the water that I take into my body. And sort of to my surprise, but not really, I got this beautiful crystal, okay, which is really lovely. And it is the energy of happiness, okay? It's that whole energy of wake up and smell the roses, you know, whatever is going on around you in life, however confused you may be, however down you may be, however much you may struggle, however much you still may have taken that leap, but yet still are a little bit uncertain, you're still hanging on to a degree to what you have left. It's so important to remember to try to be happy, okay? So the energy of happiness I just want to bring in here, and I'm going to spray the Archangel Metatron Joy spray, okay? And let's just put that around us, and I want to say something about happiness actually. So let's just breathe this in. It is a very lovely scent, the lemon joy. Those of you that live in the northern hemisphere like I do, we are still in winter. It's been a long one, they're always long. And you know, you start to get depleted in vitamin D, SAD, seasonal affective disorder, can start to kick in for quite a lot of people. There is this just total desire for some sunshine and warmth. And a lot of people do feel a little bit sad this time of year. Of course, that doesn't just apply to the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, you know, you can be unhappy as well for different reasons. But, you know, the joy spray is a really nice one just to lift our vibration a little bit at the moment. I had 3 people yesterday send me messages, all of which were lovingly said and which I respected and totally understood where each was coming from. But the gist of it was one person had posted a video up that I had done, I think about 2 years ago, and had just noticed how different I looked 2 years ago. And another friend, who is a friend, had noticed I looked a little bit sad in the last video I made. And then somebody else commented on my physical appearance, just in contrast maybe to a couple of years ago. And I'd already noticed it myself, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is not just that we can look 2 years older, it's the fact that actually I feel, and I feel very strongly about this, that sometimes we really have to honour the battle scars that we get from having gone through a difficult passage, a difficult rite of passage, a difficult initiation. And I'm sharing this with you because rather than looking in the mirror and seeing, you know, the lines or the just the battle scars is what Metatron is calling them in my ear, try to look in the mirror like I did this morning and really look at yourself, and actually love what you see, honor what you see, and honor the journey that you are on. The truth is that any of us, I'm feeling quite emotional as I say this because I know it's resonating with quite a lot of you as well as myself. The truth is that those of us who are on this path of spiritual enlightenment in this lifetime, path of ascension, we have to appreciate that it is and it can be very, very difficult because we are asked to break the mold. We are asked to go against what the sleeping unconsciousness of most of society is still in. And we're asked to be different, and we are asked to let go and heal and heal. And of course there is a reward for that, or we wouldn't be doing it. And of course it's about filling ourselves with light and finding that peaceful place and finding the happiness and the joy. But we also have to honour that sometimes, and the last couple of years for myself and for many of you watching this have been difficult, you know, and I never want my channel to be one where I just come on and I make out that everything is 100% hunky-dory, that the path is completely upward, you know, and that it's just getting better and better every single month, and every single month we have the star card coming in and the wish is granted. And yes, ultimately that is the path that we're on, but let us honour also some of the pain, some of the shadow, some of the darkness, some of the hurt, betrayal. It's going to be different for every single person that each of us has had to wade our way through. And then when you look in the mirror and you see that, actually honour it, you know, really honour it, and not just honour it, love it, okay? And have great compassion and gentleness for self, because I feel we're all a little bit battle scarred actually, and I feel that the Hermit card that has kept coming up in these recordings that I've done for you recently sort of makes sense now, because the Hermit is very much about taking time out, healing the wounds, licking the wounds, being restful. And we're also in a retrograde phase at the moment as I make this as well. It's Venus retrograde. So it's actually asking us to look back at the past, look back at relationships, look back at love, look back at how we've been loved. And it's not always easy. And this isn't just about present day relationships, it's about childhood as well. And it's about past life stuff, but particularly it's this life stuff at the moment. And you have to go into it and you have to face it in a real way, you know. So I just wanted to say that because I hope that I'm not speaking alone here. I don't believe I am. And actually Metatron is asking me to pull out the new depiction for the Hermit card, which we have within this deck. I suppose I could just shuffle them, couldn't I? And it probably would come up. But anyway, it's not magic tricks here, so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to find him. It's probably going to be right at the end of the deck. Hold on, here he goes, the Hermit. So let me just find it in the other deck as well. I should know it, shouldn't I? Because I've shown it to you so many times over the last few months. Actually no, there's another deck. There's this deck is the one I've been showing you from the 5th tarot. Let me just find it. Bear with me. Okay. This is the Hermit card that we have been looking at for quite a while, okay? For quite a few months. And it shows the figure, do you remember? And he's sitting, he's looking out at water. He's looking out at a lake. It's very peaceful, it's very still, but the lake, of course, is his emotions. There is the moon overhead. He appears to be a very wise figure, you know. He's depicted as an elder. You can't see his face, actually. You can see an owl that's there to support him, but effectively he's very much on his own, okay, going through his own reflection. In the new depiction, in this after tarot deck, it's a very different image. He's not sitting, he's standing. I'm sorry if my camera is blurring the image a bit, but just bear with me. He's not sitting, he's standing. The main point, though, is he's not alone here, okay? He has... Do you remember we were talking, I think it was a black leopard or something that came up in the March the 1st video, which was about protection. Well, here it's a dog. It's a black dog. And I'm hearing the word faithful friend, okay? He has a faithful friend beside him who has actually been there all the time, walking the path with him, and who feels very alert, actually, to the presence of anything that may be detrimental to this wise old man, which effectively is us. It's our wisdom. And there's just an alertness about this dog, and a faithfulness and a loyalty. Also, he's holding a snake there, which is quite interesting, and he's also got a lantern. So in the previous picture, he didn't have a lantern. He was basically lit by the power of the moon, by the light of the moon, but he had no light of his own that you could see. Here he does. Here he's been told to stand up, pick up his lantern and walk, and actually it does look like he's very much on a sort of a cliff edge here. It's snow underfoot, and he's at the edge of a cliff here. I'm wondering what the... Oh, actually, within the lamp, I don't know if you can see it, there is a little star, okay? A little star, like a Merkaba star, which links to Metatron. Snakes can be to do with so many things, of course, can't they? But actually here, what I'm hearing Metatron say, and I will read the actual, what it says in the booklet in a moment, but I'm hearing it's about the snake shedding its skin, which is what we are going through at the moment. And that can be a process where the old life comes off very easily, but some of us are resisting it, okay? And I got this message earlier on in the week. I have posted a little bit on my Facebook page over the last few days about ascension symptoms. Now, it's not something that I go into that much, to be honest, because I know there are lots of teachers out there that I want to say go on and on and on about ascension symptoms, and I'm not one of them, because I do believe that sometimes, you know, if you've got a runny nose, you've got a cold. Sometimes if you've got a headache, it is just because you had a glass of wine last night, or, you know, you've been overdoing it with work. It doesn't have to just be about ascension symptoms, but it can be. And I've definitely felt to be honest, since March began, that there has been an upsurge in ascension symptoms, which aren't just to do with the everyday colds and sniffles and, you know, overworking or whatever it is that you're doing that might be affecting your physical body. And one of the symptoms I was feeling was dizziness. A lot of people were saying that they felt that as well, and headaches as well. And I tuned into it and I asked Archangel Metatron about it. And one of the things he was saying was it was about resistance, that we were making this rebirth harder for ourselves than it needed to be. The snake that wanted to shed its skin was resisting the natural process of change that wanted to come in. And so if you resist something, you make it 10 times worse. And I'm being given the analogy of physical birth here, and I'm being told just very briefly, without any detail, just to contrast the two physical births that I have had in this life. And one was when I was I was frightened, I was scared, because it was the first time I'd physically given birth, and I was trying to do it in a perfect way. You know, I'd had all the classes that said you had to do it this way, you know, mustn't take a single drug. And I had a very, very difficult time, which lasted for hours and hours and hours, days actually. And it was because I was resisting the natural process that my body needed to go through. My body knew how to give birth. It was my mind that was saying, but you've got to do it this way and you've been told this, so do it that way. The second birth was a water birth and was an awful lot easier because I literally went with the flow, and I wasn't frightened, I wasn't scared, I knew what was going to happen, I let my body do what it needed to do. It's the same with rebirth that we're all going through at the moment. If we can just let go, I'm just seeing the word control, you know. There are so many of us who are trying to control it, and we can't control this process. I think Metatron talked, I think it was the March video, the other March video I've done, about some of us clinging onto the raft for dear life. And actually, if we go back to the new depiction of the Fool, what I quite like here is I can feel a change in the energy from the beginning of March. Beginning of March, I was feeling so many people wanting to cling on for dear life to that piece of wood of the old life that they were, you know, somehow needing to preserve, or just to keep them safe. And here, symbolically, yes, there is still a holding on. He is still holding on to the side of the cliff, or the raft, as was the analogy we had earlier in the month. But I don't know whether the camera can sort of see it, show it, but the way his hand is actually holding onto this rock is very sort of, it's not like, oh, it's not like I'm gripping onto it, and if I let go of my grip, everything is going to fall away and I'm going to be destroyed and die on the rocks below. It's very much sort of like, yeah, I've got my hand here because I'm sort of used to having my hand here, but actually I'm really quite interested in smelling the rose, you know. And actually my hand's here just almost by habit. Does that relate? Because I think there's been a shift in the energy with that. And I also quite like the fact that there's another dog here, isn't there? So we have the dog with the new hermit card, the black dog. And here we've got a white dog, and white is very much linked into the energy of a clean start as well. I do want to read though the message for these two cards, okay, the official message. And let's just look at the new meaning, okay, for the Hermit card, which is the one that I was talking about first. Okay, so let's just see what new information comes in here. Assuming there is new information. Yes, there is. Okay, hold on. Right, I'll put it's only a short little message, but I'll put it up to the camera. It says, the hermit reflects on spiritual concerns and carries the light of wisdom as a beacon for others to follow. He stands on a snowy mountain. In one hand he holds a lantern high, in the other he holds a long coiled serpent. A shadowy companion stands at his side, a massive black hound. Actually, it doesn't really give anything else other than what I've said to you, because one of the things I like about this deck is that it wants you to interpret them. So that was the interpretation that came through me, that this snake is us. It's us shedding our skin. But you can comment on my channel, and please give your interpretation as well, because there will probably be many different interpretations. Okay, so I think what I'd like to do at this point is, let's just clear up a bit here. I'd like to pull another card that goes with the new energy of the Fool. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, so Fool. Let's just see one other card that goes with it. And then I've got a surprise for you at the end. I treated myself to some new musical instruments, and I am going to be recording a colour soundbar for people that are doing my level 2 distance program at the moment. But I'm just going to give you a little preview of two of the things that have arrived in my home this morning, and I haven't even played them yet, so we'll do that in a moment. I'd just like one more card then that goes with this energy of the Fool for the end of March, okay? Let's give them a good shuffle first. The Queen of Wands. And believe it or not, we do have the star card on the bottom of the deck. Love that. I was just saying, you know, it's not always just about the star and the wish, but actually it is there on the bottom of the pack, which is rather lovely. Maybe I'll talk about that in a moment. Queen of Wands. Here she sits on her throne, and the thing that I am wanting to say about it over and above anything else is the fact, I don't know if you can see it, don't know if it's too blurry, the picture, but she's holding a sunflower, okay? And what were we talking about in terms of happiness? We were talking about the need for joy, the need to smell the roses, but the sunflower to me is the ultimate symbol of joy and laughter and sunshine. You know, think about a sunflower, they grow tall and proud, don't they? And the more sun they have, the bigger and more beautiful they get. And this is also about us taking in the gold and yellow energy to our solar plexus, particularly those of us who have felt a bit depleted, and to charge ourselves up. If we don't have natural sunlight, charge ourselves up with the energy of yellow and gold. And actually at this point, I'm just going to spray the joy again. Okay, so let's just bring that again down now. Metatron is saying from the small, if you think about the size of a sunflower seed, I actually love eating sunflower seeds. I can eat them, you know, till the cows come home. But they're tiny, aren't they? And you think what one little seed can produce, which is this most amazing sunflower. So just take that beautiful lemon light into your body, take it down into your solar plexus, and just see it maybe as the seed that it needs to be. And then allow it to grow with this beautiful sunshine energy that is there. And it's as though this sunflower energy, this energy of joy, just wants to come and help lift us all a little bit. It knows that we're a bit battle scarred. It knows that we're a bit weary. It knows that it's taking enormous strength to either have jumped off that cliff, or to be in limbo, or, as was actually somebody was talking to me about the other day, actually sometimes it takes strength to stay as well, okay? And that's because there are so many of you that watch these videos now. Everybody is going to have a slightly different take on this. So I just want you to know that wherever you're at the moment, there is an honouring here of the space that you are in by Archangel Metatron, okay? But anyway, the sunflower, she is holding, she's also got a staff, but the thing that again I'm noticing about the staff that she's holding, there are little green shoots of recovery coming out of it, little green shoots of new growth. And rather than a dog, this Queen of Wands has a black cat beside her, and the black cat of course is a symbol of, I don't know, I want to say mysticism. They are, again, very, very protective, and they do feel more female in nature. You know, there's the whole feline quality. If you think about the way that a cat moves, whether it's a male cat or a female cat, they're very graceful animals. They're very elegant. You know, I've got a cat and a dog in my home, and the cat is graceful and feline and moves with sort of an elegance. And the dog is like a great big lumping Labrador who just bounds and charges, and it's a totally different energy, both protective but in very different ways. So this Queen of Wands has got her black cat beside her. I just want to make sure that I haven't missed anything that I should have said about her. So let me just see what it says about the Queen of Wands. Okay. Oh. Okay, so she embodies a steamy blend of water and fire. Astrologically, she represents the cardinal fire sign of Aries, the fiery sign of leadership and initiation, which makes her a natural leader. So, okay, what we've done is we had the Fool card, and now we've got the card of leadership, okay? And sometimes when we're asked to lead, in whatever area of life that is, and we can be asked to lead as a parent, we can ask to be to lead a business, lead a project, or lead in many other different ways. It can actually be that place where actually he's leapt off the cliff. There isn't actually anybody else around him, you know, but he's okay. he's smelling the rose. You know, he's fully occupied and he's fully present in that particular moment. I will just reference the star card because we talked about it and now it is actually on the bottom of the pack, and it looks quite different here from the usual depiction of the star card, which is different in every deck actually, but let me just reference the old one if I can quickly find it. She said, it's hiding. It's hiding from me. Okay, we don't need the traditional one then. We'll just look at the new one. The new one is a woman and she is actually in the water this time, okay? It's not just being poured over her. She is actually pouring it over herself, I want to say. So she has managed to master her own emotions to a degree, and actually there is so much of this life-giving water that actually what she's doing is she's pouring it over herself. She's in the lake, but there's so much she's actually pouring it into the land beside her. So it feels to me that the message here with this new depiction of the star card is that not only can our wish be granted, but the wish can come in for other people as well around us, okay? So we can include other people in what we want. Yeah, that's what I want to say about that one. Okay, so I'm going to end with these two little new things that I've got. I'm going to show you what they are. Ooh. The first is this. Isn't that beautiful? Reminds me of Cinderella and the steps that Cinderella takes up to the top of the palace, or, you know, the ball where she's going. And then the clock strikes midnight and she comes back down. But actually Destiny has already agreed that she's going to be going back to the top where she belongs. Lovely sound. I hope that comes across on the camera. So this is one of my new toys, and you'll probably, I don't know, I'm sure I'll probably incorporate them in other videos that I do. That's the first one. And then the second one, because I've got myself one of these. And what I'd like us to intention with this is to think about the places in our world that don't have water at the moment. This is very significant for rainfall, and I'd like us to just send a little prayer for Africa, to the places in Africa where there is famine at the moment, and for us to envisage water coming onto parched land there. Okay, it had to be coloured, didn't it? Much love, everybody. I will see you all soon, and take care of yourself. It's a little bit tough out there, but we're going to be fine. Bye-bye for now.